Well, boys, it was a feisty weekend in the Premier League. Some teams won that probably weren't expected to, had some feisty results between some fierce rivals. Let's get into this. This is Red Card Radio. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever you're listening from. Thanks for tuning in. Red Card Radio is a weekly look at the Premier League from three different friends who support different clubs. My name is James. I support Arsenal. That's Brad up top. He supports Chelsea wherever he is. Down below, that's Sean. He supports Tottenham. Gentlemen, good day. How are you?
I'm feeling good, bro. Still feeling good.
Doing fine.
Are you?
Yeah,
You know what?
We're on the commentary, man.
This week,
We're on the commentary.
week doesn't matter because it's just one of 19 teams that you played, right?
That's right.
All
Gotta
right.
play them all twice, though.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah. So this is just the first of the two games against this team. You know, it matters the same amount as all the other games, right?
Before we get too deep into unraveling this mystery web that Brad and Sean are tangling, if you could hit that subscribe button, ring the sub notification bell if you're on YouTube. If you're on one of the podcast sites, hit it with a follow, 5-star review, all that good stuff, and hit the share button, put it on your socials, email it to your friends, text it to your buddies. We appreciate all of that, and it does help us out tremendously. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Yeah, and let's start. I think, like we did for the preview of this week, we started with the North London Derby. Kind of feels pertinent to start there as well.
Let me ask you. Let me ask you something, Brad.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask Brad specifically.
Yeah.
Fair. You can have the floor first. You can have the floor first, Sean.
No, because I'm gonna directly defend his claims. Do you want Maresca taking the week off for Ipswich, not watching any games or not caring or at all, or?
No.
Okay. Why would I do the same for any of my managers? Like you want some game to mean more. All I'm saying is the North London Derby means more to me as a fan. I don't want it to mean more to my manager. That's what I'm saying. To the manager, I don't want it. I don't care if it means more. If it does, great. If it doesn't, I don't care. I want him to win all 38 games. Like, what are we talking about here? You want your manager to care less about other games? Implying that he cares more about one game means he cares less about other games.
I think Ange has the right mentality when it comes to it.
Hey,
he needs to word it better. He needs to word it and say, I appreciate that this is a big fan. This is a big game for the fans, and we appreciate that as the players. They know that, but I want to assure the fans that we approach this game we approach the North London Derby with just as much intensity as we approached last week's game, and we are striving to win every game for the fans, and we know it means a lot to you, so we want to win it for you. But we just like we want to win every game for you. He needs to word it better, and that's all. And I think
I agree.
Hey, listen, I am here to stir the pot.
Yeah, that's true, Brad. Yeah.
Because if Spurs lose Ange, then this is even better.
Yeah, like my grander point is that it means more to me. I don't want it to mean more to him.
Why?
I don't want him to take the Leicester week off, which we drew. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I want him to want every game the same as he wants the North London Derby. That's what we pay him for.
Yeah.
So did he take the Leicester week off because you guys drew?
Must have. Clearly he did care less about it.
That was like 5 weeks ago at this point because we had an international.
All right. Let's talk about things that were done on the field.
Let's talk about that game. I'll give you the floor first after I set up the fact that Arsenal won the game 1-0. Second half goal from Gabriel Mangalos on a corner, about 64th, 65th minute, something like that. And Arsenal win the game 1-0 at White Hart Lane. Sean, what say you?
I want to kick it back to you for just a second, then I'm going to take the floor back.
Ooh,
fair.
There was an interesting moment where Jurrien Timber is all the way up the pitch, commits a foul, runs off with the ball, confronted by a goalkeeper who's supposed to be our defensive man. He's just confronted face to face. No altercation yet. Jurrien Timber grabs him by both collars of his jersey and confronts him like a 1950s bully in Happy Days with the Fonzarelli. and Vicario gets a yellow. What say you?
Okay, so I think that if you play that replay back and you go back and watch this after we talk about this, and you look at Jurrien Timber's demeanor after Romero kicks him, right? So Romero kicks him in the foot. He tumbles. He stands back up. If you look at the look on Timber's face, he is very calm. He is calm, collected, cool. And then Vicario comes up to him and instigates. And so this is not the answer.
What does that have to?
Because what
does that have to do with it?
Because if Vicario stays away from Timber, no one's shirts get tugged, no scuffle ensues. Timber walks back down the field. He gets his yellow card, his undeserved yellow card for a not foul on Porro, and the game goes on. And so, yes, that's my point, is that Timber didn't even foul Porro there, and I will defend that in just a minute. But Vicario instigates there. Now, what we're used to seeing as fans is that the instigator gets away with it, and the person who reacts gets in trouble. Timber was foolish to grab Vicario's shirt. I agree with you, and it was a escalation upon escalation. But if Vicario doesn't square up to Timber, then that situation, that scuffle never happens. So Vicario instigated it. Do I think Vicario deserves a yellow card? No, but he also instigated it. So whatever. It was a weak yellow card on Vicario. I agree with you.
I just find it, sure, it's a weak yellow. I just feel like if you're going to give the yellow to Vicario, you need to consider that also a yellow for Timber for reacting. You're supposed to be smarter than that. We expect these people to be adults. How old is Timber? He's not 18.
Yeah,
he's not a child.
Mid-20s, probably. Young 20s, mid-20s.
Yeah, mid-20s-ish. Let's say he's 24 for the sake of not looking it up.
I think the problem is that the referee had already decided in his mind that he was cautioning Timber for the foul on Porro. He had already decided that, and so he didn't want to send Timber off. I legitimately think that's what went through the referee's mind.
Well, then that's not fair. You've said that, and because one foul is worthy one and another foul is worthy of one, you don't not give one because you already gave the first.
Well, I'm arguing. What I would argue is that Timber had earned himself one yellow card in that entire situation.
You're arguing that it's a sequence.
No.
It's a sequence, and he got a yellow for the sequence, and not the singular act of either one of them.
What you're saying is that it was a foul on Porro that was a yellow card offense, and it's a yellow card offense for grabbing Vicario's shirt. What I'm saying is that Timber did not foul Porro. It was not a foul on Porro, and Vicario, he deserves a yellow card for grabbing Vicario's shirt. That's my stance. That's not how it was adjudicated. I fully recognize that. It was adjudicated as a yellow card foul for a foul by Timber on Porro, which I disagree with.
I can send you a video of Casemiro getting a red card for exactly what Timber did to Porro.
It's not even close to the same. And you can look at the Casemiro situation.
It is.
No, it's not. And let me explain to you why it's not even close to the same. Because Casemiro steps on the ball, comes through, and his studs go into the player's leg, into his shin. Timber, no, wait, Brad. Timber steps on the ball. The side of his foot hits Porro's leg, and his studs are never on his leg. You're going to look. I
literally just watched it.
No, you're going to look at a still picture, Brad, and the still picture is disingenuous.
I'm watching the replay right now.
No,
he gets him. I'm watching it right now.
He doesn't.
All I'm saying
get him
is it's not even me arguing this. It's Brad. I'm telling you,
I just watched it.
It was a red. It was a red for Casemiro.
Hey.
And I'm saying it was a yellow.
100% deserves a yellow.
They're very different results. You can't look at that one. And even if Timber does, if we accept what Brad is saying, which I disagree with, I'm just pointing that out there. If we accept it, Brad would also concede that the Casemiro one was significantly more violent than the Timber one.
Sure. Yes. Okay. I'm like, a yellow card is correct in that.
Disagree.
Vicario deserved the yellow. Just whether or not I think it's correct or not, let me rephrase. PGMOL thinks that is the correct call. I don't think you can really control where your foot, after your foot hits the ball and it keeps rolling. Like, I don't think that's your fault. But
I think it's very similar to the Romero call last year, where after you kick the ball, you cannot control where your foot goes. But
homie blasted a leg out. No,
he did destroy Enzo.
He kicked the ball.
Yeah, but
anyways, we're arguing last year's points. Let's move on.
Yes,
but that's a good goal.
That's
a clean goal, by the way.
The Gabriel goal. Let's talk about the goal.
I just watched the Gabriel goal. I want to move it forward.
We should watch it. We should watch that.
This looks this looks clean.
Let's please watch that. Do you see the 2-hand shove into the small of the back of Romero that shoves him 3 yards ahead of Gabriel? No.
You're not going. Hey, look, Chelsea don't ever get that call. So no.
That's where I ended up. So while I still have the floor, even though I haven't, I would like to say that it is a shove in the back, which is what you so viscerally argued against last year. Now you're okay with it. And we're also okay with it.
This is different.
Because it's never getting called on a corner ever.
So Brad,
ever. This push.
Tell me why you think it's different.
This push is never getting called.
Tell me why you think it's different, Brad.
Different.
It's actually worse. It's actually worse.
No, it's not. That is absolutely crazy, Sean. This is 2 people jockeying for position. There is nothing wrong with this. And Gabriel steps back.
All right.
Like they collide into each other. Yes, because hey, have you ever run into something when you're looking at it? Where do your hands go? Where do your hands go, Sean? Do you keep them here?
Oh, do I? I do
I do an
NFL lineman stunt.
No, as he stops, his hands come forward because that's his body motion, and he steps back and has a clean header.
Brad,
you're wrong on this, Sean.
Brad, if you were in line at Subway down the street from your house, if you did that to the person in front of you in line, would you get arrested?
What do you mean? What, bump into them?
Then shove them forward.
It'd probably start like he might get mad because I bumped into him, but no, I'm not going to get arrested for it. What is
shoving him after?
Listen, I am the most unbiased here. I wanted both teams to lose, right?
He was rooting for Bane.
I agreed that the Timber yellow was a yellow. It was a foul.
Do you think Timber should have been sent off, Brad?
No.
Okay.
Looking at what I saw,
I didn't think it should be sent off.
No, 100% not. There's not 2 yellows there.
Why did you bring it up, Sean? Because that was the talking point from Spurs Twitter, was that Timber should have been sent off for that.
No, I think it's harsh. I think it is harsh too. Like, okay. I'm trying to bring myself back to reality. Like, he definitely deserved the yellow for both, but like, to give him 2 yellows in one sequence is harsh.
Is Martinelli-esque. I don't know if you guys remember when Michael Oliver gave Martinelli 2 yellow cards in the span of 1 second.
In a same sequence of play. Like, that's really, really harsh.
All right, can I?
You should. If it was that bad, you should have brought it back to the first one and not let play continue. What I mean?
Can I quickly have the last word on the push? Just because you think it's a push, and the only thing I'm going to say is I agree it's a push. I think that Gabriel does push him. I do think that Gabriel kind of gets away with it. I'm surprised. After watching it the first time, I didn't think it was a push. When I watched it back on replay, I was like, okay, yeah, that is a push. The one thing I do want to say is that the reason why it's very different from the Joel Linton push on Gabriel at Newcastle was because Gabriel is jumping against Newcastle and Joel Linton is pushing him down. So Gabriel's in the air trying to jump to head the ball, and you just see all of his momentum stop because Joel Linton is holding him down. This is a situation where both the players are running towards the ball, where the ball is being kicked. They're both running towards the flag. Gabriel gives some amount of push. None of us can judge it because Romero's momentum is going in that direction anyway. Yeah. And then Gabriel stops. And what you really should be mad about on that corner is Vicario. Vicario let Gabriel get a header 5 yards from his goal. A goalkeeper has to win. That's where I was coming 100% of the time.
I was bringing it back to this too. That I can be bad about the push. The push is never all 10 refs none of them are calling that.
Yes.
It's a clean jostle for position. Whether I think it's a push, you think it's a push, it doesn't matter. They've clearly stated that they're going to allow this type of thing. But you are absolutely right. Vicario has to control his 6-yard box.
Yes.
100%. Like he has to get out there.
That's something he
Congestion
needs to improve
or
his
not.
game. He needs to improve that in his game. Brad, what did you want to say?
Once you guys are done with the push, I think we're done with the push. Am I correct? I want to jump us ahead another 15 minutes. How was that not a penalty on Solanke? That's 100% a penalty on Gabriel. Tackling Solanke in the box. The tackle on Solanke in the box. Like straight trip, doesn't get the ball.
I don't remember this situation, so it's insignificant to me.
Yeah.
Obviously, it wasn't.
I don't remember being aggrieved by it. So,
ball comes in, it's tipped off of your defenders. Like crossed in, Solanke runs across, beats Gabriel to the ball. It's deflected off of Gabriel's foot, kind of maybe. Yeah, I guess it's because it goes backwards, and he eats all of Solanke up, steps on his foot in the penalty box.
But does he? You just said he won the ball.
You just said he won the ball. No, yeah.
Solanke kicked the ball into him.
So he deflects it?
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And then he steps on Solanke?
Beats him to the ball. Solanke beats him to the ball, and in the motion,
is he
Gabriel
shooting?
Trips him and steps on him. No, the ball's coming in as a cross. Solanke's coming across to get to the ball after it hit off of one of the Arsenal defenders. Beats Gabriel to the ball and gets fouled.
But at some point in this sequence, Gabriel played the ball?
The ball played off of Gabriel.
So was Solanke trying to play it beyond Gabriel, and Gabriel intercepted it and then brought Solanke down?
I wish I could share my screen, but it'd probably get us.
Yeah, I think the moral of this situation is that neither Sean nor I remember it, so it's probably a non-issue.
I'm not aggrieved.
Sean, I think if you went back to watch his highlight, you would be.
Holistically, Sean, what are your feelings on this game? And kind of as a whole, because we, as a caveat, I'll say you thought Arsenal were going to win the game, and I thought Spurs were going to win the game. So what is your grand takeaway? And then we'll move on.
My grand takeaway is that I want to bring it all in because there's a lot of points that I didn't get to touch on because we spent a lot of time on other things. My grand takeaway is that we dominated the game. So that's a plus. I thought we had, in the stats show, if you just look at the regular stats and not the advanced stats, because advanced stats say XGs were absolutely equal. We were both 0.81 or something on XG. The regular stats say that we got more shots off and more on target, I believe, just no goals. So that's the problem. So that's where it comes back to, is that we controlled the game. We controlled the pace of play. There were some breakaways. There were some chances for Arsenal. Van de Ven was crucial in cutting those off. I mean, I'm sure there were a lot of times that you were watching that game and God dang, he's fast. Because that's what I was thinking of. God, thank God he's healthy.
There was one specific play where I don't know who was passing to whom, but they before I could see that they were trying to make this pass, and I was like, you can't make this pass, don't try it. Van de Ven's going to cut it out. And he tried to pass it, and Van de Ven cut it out. And I was like, yeah, you're just not going to get that pass against Van de Ven.
Yeah.
So your takeaway is that Spurs controlled the game, and you just didn't execute in front of goal.
Yeah, so it comes back holistically to our two biggest problems from last year, which are still here. We can't finish or take good opportunities. The other big takeaway that I had was no one was willing to shoot at a good shot until Sar came on. Sar was ripping them from as soon as he came on, he was like, got a lane, I'm taking it from 20 some out, and it was good angles.
Yeah,
it made your keeper work. It made Raya work, but nothing went in. But no one was willing to do that. When you get an ounce when they give you a little bit of space, take it. Why not? They were all trying to work the angles and get the cutesy shot. It's not going to work against a team like this. Take shots, just rip it. And then the other problem is set pieces.
Yeah.
They have got to sort out, and maybe it comes down to Vicario, like being able to work through traffic. It's something has got to break. They either need to open the lanes up for him to get out, or he needs to figure out how to get around it. One of the two.
I think the points I would make about it is I thought we would be more unsettled by missing Rice and Odegaard than we were. Trossard and Martinelli did a really good job of kind of switching on the left and coming into midfield. And that I think unsettled Tottenham a little bit. I don't really ever want to see Jorginho receiving passes while he's facing his goal ever again, because Jorginho being pressured on a half turn, he loses it a lot. And there were multiple occasions where he had to be on the half turn and you guys won the ball back.
Yep.
Arsenal. I'm going to just push back slightly on the idea that Spurs dominated the game, because while you had more possession, you had more shots, even maybe more on target, I never really, those shots were not like high quality shots. They weren't, as you pointed out, high XG producing shots. So it's not Arsenal played the game that they wanted to. They sat in a classic Sean Dyche 4-4-2 when they were out of possession, and it was rigid. And you could see either Trossard sitting next to Kai Havertz as your only two kind of like forward players, and Martinelli and Saka just sat right next to Jorginho and Partey. And it was a really impressive, I think, defensive setup. And it was very pragmatic from Arteta. And I think that Arsenal were kind of always like, we will get a set piece. We like set pieces. We were the most prolific team on set pieces last year. We had multiple opportunities on the break. And so I agree with you that it was a very even game. I think it was exceedingly even. And that I think 1-0 in either direction, it would have been fair. I think Arsenal winning 1-0, Spurs winning 1-0, or the game ending in a draw would have seemed like a fair result for what we saw on the pitch. That's my takeaway. And I think that the referee was fine. I said beforehand that I thought the referee was not going to play a role. I don't know if you think that the referee played a role, and maybe you can just yes or no answer that, but I think it was fine.
No, I don't think. I think that guy, was his name, Shane Gillis? He could have been anybody.
Jared Gillette. I like that, Shane Gillis.
Yeah, it could have been anybody. But I feel like a fair result was 1-1 or 0-0 or either. I think a draw was a fair representation of the game. But you know what? Fair is not who wins titles. So
true. All right. Let's turn our attention to Mersyside. With both Everton and Liverpool. Liverpool have a shock defeat against Forest. Nottingham Forest come to Anfield and win in the league for the first time in like 52 years or something like that. I saw the stat. I don't know exactly the exact number of years, but I think it was like 52 years, the first time that Forest have won in the league at Liverpool. They win 1-0. And that's kind of literally everyone in our picks picked Liverpool to win this game. No one had Forest winning this game.
Oh, well, that's all thanks to Cobham, really. It was Hudson Odoi.
Callum Hudson-Odoi. Dub.
I had to bring it full circle, James.
Yes. And then the other thing we'll say is that Aston Villa, Everton, they give up a 2-goal lead for the second time in 2 weeks. They were up 2-0 at Villa Park and proceeded to allow Villa back into the game, and Villa won the game 3-2. Should we be concerned about your boy Sean Dyche and his employment at Everton Football Club?
You know what? I think he may want to update that resume. How they finished and how they're playing now are two very different, very, very different teams. And like what they did lose, they lost Onana.
Mm-hmm.
They lost, I think, somebody else to Saudi.
I think they had majority were departures this year.
Yeah, they didn't really buy anybody to help them out, which he knew that's what he was getting into. I think
if I had to to do I would need to do a little bit more research on this take, but just general feel about Everton is that this seems to keep happening with managers, that they get the ear when they're a new manager bounce. They get the ear of them, they play better, and then they lose the locker room or whatever you want to call it, where they just tune the manager out, and that's what it kind of feels like again, and it just keeps happening, and that's not going to be fixed by a new manager. They're just gonna play well for the new manager so they don't get shipped out, and then slack off again, and then they realize that it's never going to be us. It's always the manager. It's kind of like the Chelsea thing, where they're like, yeah, we can do whatever we want because they're just going to fire the manager and hire a new one anyway. So,
or what it kind of feels like at Manchester United right now, is that the players feel empowered.
Manchester United,
yeah, is another one.
Yeah, I don't. It's kind of that situation.
Go for it. I did find it for you. I did find it. The last time Nottingham Forest won at Anfield was in the League Cup, March 22nd, 1978. The last time they won at Anfield during league play, I'm saying league play because it was League Division 1, it's February 15th, 1969.
Yeah.
Wow. Long time.
Very long time.
Well before the Premier League, Brad. Well before the Premier League.
Well before Cobham was a thing, because it's before 2001.
Exactly. Yeah. Chelsea was created in 2001. Yeah, I think that if Everton now have 0 points through 4 games, they've conceded 13 goals and they've scored only 4. I think that unless Everton start winning games, like maybe I'm not even sure draws will be enough to save Sean Dyche's job. I'm not entirely sure how far away we are from the next international break. It's probably like 2 months. It's probably like early November.
I think it's October. I think we're like 4 weeks away.
I hate FIFA with a fiery passion. The international calendar sucks. Well,
October 12th.
Are you serious? October 12th?
International breaks. October
12th. If Everton don't have like 12 points by then, maybe 8 points, I think that Dyche is fired. I just don't see how he survives. Because Everton desperately need to stay up if they're going to be sold. And they're not going to get sold if they get relegated. And then they're going to go into administration. They're just going to cease to exist.
I mean, they might have 2 points. So their next 3 games, little preview. Their next 3 games for the international break are Leicester, away at Leicester, home against Palace, home against Newcastle.
Yeah,
so it's not going to get easier.
As a closing point on Everton, the funny joke going around the internet is that Jay-Z is part of the group that wants to buy them.
Jay-Z.
And that the joke is that he already has 99 problems, so he doesn't need his 100th. He shouldn't do that.
Brad, give us close us out tonight with this Chelsea victory away to Bournemouth.
Yeah. You know what? This is one of those games that I think will be very, very important in building the structure, because like we were terrible the first half, absolutely terrible. The only person to perform worse than Chelsea was Anthony Taylor as the ref.
Here we go.
Absolutely again. Abhorrent.
Here we go again.
I don't understand how he keeps getting to ref Chelsea games. But
I would be interested to see how many games Anthony Taylor, like what the percentage is of last year. Someone should do break a spreadsheet down and show us how many games. Like, does Anthony Taylor disproportionately ref Chelsea games, or is it in line with all the other refs?
We'll see. I think it is. It feels that way. But I'm very happy with the win. Sancho balled out as a sub, and Cuckoo scores a goal with 3 defenders on him. Sanchez played out of his mind in the net, and I want to make sure I say that because I've been a Sanchez hater. But he had like 7 good saves. There's a couple near misses from Bournemouth.
That Cuckoo goal seemed to be fortuitous. Like the way that he kind of got through all those players and was able to score. He seemed like he got very lucky, but shooters got to shoot.
Bro, he is a scrappy finisher. Like, I never said he was clean. Like, when I hyped Nkunku up coming to Chelsea, he's a scavenger in front of the net. And like, yes, that was the perfect goal for that. And it's a win away. So I'm happy. We move.
All right. I think that's all we got for this. Oh wait, we need to do points. We need to talk about points. How did people do? So picks. So for picks for match week 4, we have 3 people tied for first. Good week.
Ooh.
We had 6 respondents, of course. And so tied for first on 7 points is Tamzid, Jimmy, and our one and only Sean Stradamus. There we go. Coming in, I guess that would be 4th, is Brad at 5. That's a very, very good showing for, and the reason why it was a little wonky was because there were so many draws this week. We draws in the Brighton Ipswich game, Palace Leicester, Fulham West Ham.
Yeah.
Those statistically were not well picked games across our, and everyone got Liverpool wrong. So, I'm 1 behind Brad at 4, and Joel had a torrid weekend with only 3. So that brings our overall standings. We got Jimmy, Jimmy's in the lead at 29. Sean is second at 27th. And then next closest is Brad at 22. And me and Joel are kind of below that. We're less than that. So, yeah, so it looks like Jimmy and Sean are kind of running away with this. So
we'll see. The comeback kid is here.
Oh yeah,
through 4 weeks.
Yeah,
I'm
coming.
Through 4 weeks, I am averaging almost 8 correct a week. 7 correct a week. Sorry.
Yeah.
7 correct a week.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Yeah,
it's impressive.
Hey. So. You don't get the title of Sean Stradamus for nothing.
What's it, like 6.34 is what you're at right now? 6.75. 6.75. Yeah. 6.75. It's pretty good. It's much better than my less than 5. So
yours is not good. Yours is not good.
It's not as bad as Tamzid, but Tamzid missed a week. So
you're battling out Tamzid who missed a week.
I'm battling Tamzid who missed a week. All right, that's all we got. We will be back later this week. We've got a preview of match week 5, and we'll give you all the information for you to submit picks for yourself starting next week. But until that time, hit us up on social medias. That guy up top, that's at KSBradG. I just realized his Twitter handle was not on the screen the entire video. It's at KSBradG. Down below is at Whiteheart_Sean. I am at James Tiffany. That's on all the socials. Collectively, you can reach us at redcard_radio. info.redcardradio@gmail.com for sponsorship issues. Buffalo Wild Wings, we're still waiting. And yeah, that's it. We will see you all next time. Thank you so much for listening. Have a good one.